Hi everybody, it's Misty, and I'm here today to do a quick tutorial for you. I did a tag for my paper pantry earlier this month, and I posted a video and it had some handmade flowers on it, and I had a lot of people ask if I could do the tutorial for it, so I'm going to do that. The only thing is I don't have the tag that I showed at the beginning with the flower on it, so I'm going to show you another project that I did recently with this flower, and it is a canvas. It's a little bit big, so you may not be able to see all of it, but I do want to show you the flower. This is the canvas, and I hope that you can see the flowers. These are the roses that I've made using some, I think they're hydrangeas from I Am Roses. So this is the flower that I'm going to do the tutorial on how to do. And this is actually a rose that I made from 5 flower petals. And then this is just a little flower that I've kind of just stacked together and made the little one. But this is the one we're actually going to show you how to do. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And let me put that out of the way. Okay, so what I've started with is I have these, and I believe they're hydrangeas from I Am Roses. I need to get online and check, so I'll let you know. And it comes in a big package, and they're just single petals. So you start with, and I've already inked some of these so that I can kind of not take too long. I've got 5 petals here, and I'm going to ink this last one. I use my Tim Holtz Distress ink and just my distressing tool, and I just go around real quick and ink the edges. And you can use any color. I'm using red because of course Valentine's is coming up soon, so I'm sure I'll be using this rose on a Valentine's project. So you just go through, ink the edges just as dark or as light as you want, and I just want the tips of my roses. I want the rest to be white, so I'm not doing the whole petal, but you can if you want. That's up to you. So I have 5 petals, and I have one, let me see if I can find it, that I cut. Okay, this is going to be the start of my flower. This is, I've taken one and I've cut the petal because they're all connected. So I've actually just cut this petal, and it's just one. This is where I'm going to start. And if everybody who watches me knows, I like my hot glue gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the petal here. I'm going to move these petals out of the way. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to roll this petal. This is where it's cut. I'm going to roll it in, and then I'm going to glue right up here at the top. I'm not going to glue down at the bottom because I'm going to snip some of that off later, and if you cut off every part that you've glued, then it's not going to stay together. So I'm just going to roll it, and you're just going to do that with each little petal. So I'm going to put a little bit more glue here to start, and I'm going to keep going. And you're just going to kind of keep rolling it around. This is going to be the center of your rosebud. So you're just going to keep rolling. And another little dab of glue. I don't use a lot, just a little bit. And if you're wondering, if anybody wants to know, this glue gun that I got, it's got a little bitty tip so I can control the glue that comes out. I got it at Hobby Lobby in the glue gun section, $5, best buy ever. I love it. I use it on everything. So I'm just creating a little petal, or the little bud for the rose, the center. So you're just going to keep going. And I got the last one here. And then you're just going to glue it. And like I said, you need to make sure that you're gluing up here at the top. If you glue down here at the bottom, you're going to see in just a second, I'm going to cut this bottom off so it lays flat. And if you glue just down here at the bottom, once you snip it, your whole rosebud's going to come apart. So I'm going to cut just a little bit off. And I already know where to cut. I've made so many of these roses that I kind of know how long I need it. But I cut just the tip off because when I put this in the center of the next flower, I want it to sit flat. I don't want that point out. Okay, so on the next petal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap these little petals. So this is going to be your next layer that's going to go outside the center. So I'm going to do this pretty close together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue right about right there. I don't know how far that is, but I want this to overlap pretty good because I want this is going to be pretty small. So you're going to go all the way around and overlap all your rose petals. And as you go, it's going to get a little tight. You're just going to have to, these are pretty sturdy. You don't want to pull too hard. They will tear, but it takes a pretty good amount of force to actually tear it. So I haven't torn one yet. So you're just going to keep going and gluing all the way around. And this last one's a little hard to do, but with a little bit of practice you'll get it. So that is your next little layer. This one, I just usually just check to make sure it's going to fit. So now you're going to take your next one. You're going to do the same thing, except on this one, you're not going to overlap as much. So on this one, you're just going to do a little bit. You're just going to, so on this one, I'll just glue right here on the very edge. And I'm just going to overlap, not as much, so that this one, of course, is going to fit on the outside of the one we did previously. We're going to keep going all the way around. As you can tell, see, the cone is not as small as the other one was. Alright. So there's that one. That's what that one looks like. So this is where we're going to start assembling your flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is the smaller one, if you can tell. I'll show you them side by side. So you've got the small one and the large one. You take the small one and I'm going to put, oh, I don't know, a good dollop in there. And then I'm just going to set this in the center and just push it down, just to make sure it gets in there and it gets all the glue. So there's your first layer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this one. I'm going to put some glue on this one, just around the bottom. And I'm going to set this one inside. And then when I do this, I want to make sure that my petals are kind of overlapping the way I want. So I'm just making sure that in between these two petals, you can see this petal. So it's just kind of, I'm placing it strategically just so that you can kind of see the different layers of the flower. So I'm just kind of pinching it down at the bottom so I can make sure that it stays together. Alright, so we're almost done. Remember we had took 5 petals out. So what I'm going to do is I'm not doing anything to these petals except gluing them on. So from here I'm just going to turn my flower over. I'm going to put some glue on the bottom. And I'm just going to lay this one, of course, with the ink down. And I'm going to set that in the center. And then I'm just going to kind of pinch it around the corners so that my petals come up and they cup around the other layer. And then you're going to do the same thing again. And now when you do this one, you're going to want to make sure that you don't lay your petals so that they're right over each other. You're going to want to offset them a little bit so you get another layer to your rose. So we'll just put another dollop of glue. And again, we're going to put this one on, and I just make sure that I've got it lined up before I put it on the glue so that you can see that it's not one petal right over the other, because you want to make sure that your petals don't overlap each other, because then it would just look weird. There wouldn't be any dimension to it. So that is, oh, excuse me, all there is to your little rose. So that's it. 5 little petals. You also can do this with your punch if you have the 5-petal rose punch or flower punch. You can also use that. I just used a flower that had 4 petals instead of 5. Now I also wanted to give you a quick little preview, try to entice you guys to stick around for a little while. This is my Valentine's gift that I'm doing for my husband this year, and it is a mini album that I made using 1 piece of cardstock. So what it is it's just an accordion album that has pockets in it, and I've put tags in the pockets. And this, the red piece here, was 1 piece of cardstock. It had a few folds and a few cuts, and it makes this great little album. And then I used a piece of decorative designer paper on the outside. So if you stick around, keep an eye out on my channel. I will have the tutorial posted on this one so that you can learn how to make this great little album. It's really fun, really cute. And I also will show you how to make one that's half the size, so a smaller one as well. So stick around for that. Keep an eye out on my YouTube channel, and you guys can check that out. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining. Bye.